I've been playing Rocket League for over 6 years now, and during this time I've slowly fallen in love. No, not with getting what is saved on by 12-year-olds, I'm talking about the arenas. Rocket League is full of both beautiful and not so beautiful maps, and today I'm going to rank every single Rocket League map that's ever been released. We're going to go on a journey throughout Rocket League's history, showcase its maps, and figure out which maps are good and which ones are bad. If you would like to participate in this tier list, I left a link in the description of the list in TierMaker where each map is labeled and you can show me your tier list by posting a picture of it in the Reddit post that is also linked in the description. If enough people post their tier list, I will make a video where I react to them and give you guys a shout out. I set out to carefully rank each map based on the following: 1. How I experienced the map from my car while in game. 2. Overall theme and execution of the map. And 3. How enjoyable the map is for its intended mode. This is a tier list, but it's also an ordered ranking, meaning the maps are ranked first all the way down to 84th. We're going to start with the bottom tiered maps and work our way up. Speaking of the tiers, here they are. At the bottom we have unplayable and just bad, then we have needs improvement and mid. Stepping up their game we have pretty good and straight fire. Finally, the best of the best, goated and god tier. Now that I've laid out the systems of this ranking, my name is XenoCloud and let's get started. So we need to address the elephant in the room, and it's a big one. On April 27, 2022, a new mode called Knockout was released. It's a battle royale style mode where 8 players try to knock out their opponents by making them fall off of the map. A battle royale mode in Rocket League? Who could have come up with that? Anyways, the mode dropped with 3 maps: Calavera, Carbon, and Quadrant. Quadrant has the distinct honor of being the worst map in Rocket League. Listen, I understand trying to bring a new mode into the game to hype up the fans, but look at this thing. Look at it. All 3 of these maps suck. If you're gonna introduce a mode like Knockout to the game, at least put some effort into the maps, please. Quadrant is the worst of the 3 simply because it's just lazy design. 4 squares. That's it. Carbon steps it up a bit by having a spike wall, and Calavera wins by default because it's a skull. Here at Psyonix, we pride ourselves on creativity. Anyways, even despite the maps being visually bland, they also just kinda suck for the mode too. They are the worst maps in Rocket League. If you thought those maps were bland, just wait until you see— oh my goodness! That's right, we're going to Neo Tokyo Comic, the worst Rocket League standard map in the game. I cannot tell you how much I despise this map. It has a super unsaturated color scheme that makes the ground look awful, and the rest of the map has this very grainy look to it. The filter over the map looks bad, and for me it just ruins OG Neo Tokyo. The map was so disliked that it's since been removed from both comp and casual playlists, and the world is a little brighter for it. Speaking of brightness, let's turn off all of the lights and make the laziest reskin of a map in Rocket League history. That's right, we're headed to Neo Tokyo Hacked, yet another map that was taken down from comp and casual playlists. I really feel like the devs are trying to make us hate Neo Tokyo at this point. I mean, take everything we love about the original and get rid of it. Just tear it all down. Replace the floor with this bland, boring garbage and make anyone who gets placed into this map instantly want to uninstall the game. I put this version slightly higher than the last one because it doesn't have that grainy look, but this one is pretty much just as bad. I mean, who would even host a match here on purpose? Next up, we've got 4 Rocket Labs maps. All of these are pretty similar in that they have a bump in the arena. Let me tell you, there's nothing I hate more than trying to control the ball on a bump in Rocket League. Ever heard of getting good? No, don't even say that. I know nobody likes this either. Underpass is at the top of this tier just because its bumps are the most bearable. After that we have Cosmic, just a stupid map. Take a shot on this map, I dare you. Then we have Galleon, which has one cute design aspect to it, but not enough to curb my hatred and bloodlust for this map design. What could be worse than this, you're asking? Well, take 2 slices of bumps, add a dash of bad goal placement, and now sprinkle 2 pillars in there and you have Galleon Retro, the worst Rocket Lab map in this entire game. And no, the sales aren't enough to make me change my mind. These maps round out our unplayable tier, and I gotta say, I am just so thankful we are done with this tier. I mean, things can only get better from here, right?
Nope.
We're not out of the woods yet because we're going to Tokyo Underpass. Anybody remember when this map was still a comp map? Yeah, thank God that ended.
Epic save!
Why did I choose to put this map one tier up from Underpass? Because although it's the same exact map design, it keeps the original Neo Tokyo design outside of the map, which is one I love. Sure, it's still pretty bad, but there's always a nostalgic feeling coming here. Nostalgia alone won't save this map from being just outside of the unplayable zone. I mean, one more whiff on that bump and it's... Next we have Badlands and Badlands Night, and let me tell you, there's a reason they're called the Badlands.
Stop it. Get some help.
Let's start with the original Badlands. The design on the outside of the map is pretty cool. It's a wasteland apocalyptic theme, and I feel like the design goes pretty hard. But the second I'm going up a wall in the arena, the design is flawed, because 90% of the time, the ball is going to hit that ceiling. And Badlands Night has the same problem. With the field having this slope to it, the walls aren't as tall, so the ball is more prone to hit the ceiling. And the walls are curved. Why? Badlands Night is ranked above this map simply because I prefer the lighting inside the arena, and this guy. He's pretty cool. But if I want to experience these maps, I'd rather just head to their more successful and charismatic siblings, the Wastelands. The Badlands are used for Rumble, and I guess that works, but I just never find myself wanting to hop into a game on these maps. Up next we have 3 similarly styled maps. Starting from the best, we have Forbidden Temple Fire and Ice, then Neon Fields, and finally Starbase Arc Aftermath. Each of these maps suffer from the same thing: dark floor, bright visual effects. While Forbidden Temple Fire and Ice only has half of its floor is dark and the other part is snowy, it just exacerbates the issue with these maps: contrast. Here's the thing, I really want to like these maps, especially Forbidden Temple Fire and Ice. They all have a really cool concept and vibe, but a lack of good execution. Forbidden Temple has a ridiculous filter around the arena that is just too bright. While I don't hate this map as much as others do, I do strongly prefer its original and daytime versions over Fire and Ice. Even the audience does. If the developers toned down the filter and fixed the contrast on this map, it'd be a top tier map, but it's just not fun to play a comp game here. Neon Fields takes place in a concert setting with a gorgeous neon sunset in the background. Again, the execution of the map here is just not great. Some maps can pull off the dark floor, bright background style by toning down the contrast. Neon Fields has one of the darkest fields and the stage is extremely bright. And then we have Starbase Arc Aftermath. Its floor isn't as dark, but there's still a lot of colors being contrasted. Great concept. There's a black hole in the sky, that's why the planet from the original is gone, and a gorgeous spiral galaxy off in the distance. Very cool. The sky looks great, but the rest of the map?
What the hell is this?
That's a different story. And try driving up the wall to hit the ball without the sky distracting you. It ain't happening, Chief. These maps had terrible execution. They're just bad. To round out our just bad tier, we have 4 more Rocket Labs maps. They are Pillars, Barricade, Colossus, and Hourglass. You might have noticed a recurring theme in these maps. That's right, they all have pillars. Bruh. I don't know about you, but the first thing that pops into my head is,
Why?
there's only one mode where the concept of pillars in Rocket League is good, and that's Heatseeker. Other than that, fuck these things. I put pillars at the top spot just because the little battle on the sides of the map can be entertaining sometimes, and you can use these pillars as walls, but it's just not enough to keep me coming back. Barricade has 4 pillars that make it one of the better Heatseeker Rocket Labs maps. Also, if you don't have workshop maps, I guess you could try and use this map to work on your directional aerial control and spins. Colossus is one of the laziest maps in the game. They just took 2 pillars and made them bigger. And Hourglass is supremely annoying because of these wall angles. What is the purpose of this? Pillars in Rocket League just don't equal out to fun in my opinion, but at least they can deliver fun to some people in Heatseeker. They round out our just bad tier, and we're finally getting into some maps that don't make me want to throw my monitor out of a 2nd-story window. So the map at the bottom of this tier is Basin, the only Rocket Labs map in this tier. Its unique gimmick isn't stupid pillars or unplayable bumps, but instead there are non-vertical walls in this map. It's one big bowl, and even the goals aren't vertical. This makes for some interesting gameplay, as players might have a 50 on the slanted walls and defenders have to worry about getting dunked on. You can also train your aerials on this map by passing it into a wall and then shooting on the goals, you know, if you don't have workshop maps. Overall, I don't know how to improve this map, it just just kind of landed here because I consider it more fun than any of the Pillars maps, but not as fun as the Rocket Labs and higher tiers. Next, we have the lowest ranked snow map in this tier list, and that is Throwback Stadium Snowy. It's a hockey styled map that is only used in a mode called Winter Breakaway. Personally, I am not a fan of the arena design, nor am I a fan of the ice floors in the game. They just don't look good. If they replaced the floor with a different design, it would be ranked higher because I do like the stadium and overall theme of the map a lot. Fix that and it's a better map. Next, we have 5 similarly styled maps. In order, they are Farmstead Night, Urban Central Haunted, Urban Central Haunted Ghost, Farmstead Spooky, and Farmstead the Upside Down. The reason I'm choosing to talk about all of these maps at once is because they all have a similar flaw. They're all used for Halloween events with the exception of the Upside Down version of Farmstead, so the developers made them all spooky.
Run.
And by that, I mean turning down all of the lights. Look at the original Farmstead, which takes place at dusk. Now look at the night version. All of the appeal and charm of the original version disappears in the night version. Urban Central Haunted and Haunted Ghost have a similar story. The lighting just isn't good, and Farmstead Spooky is just pitch black. I understand they have to make the maps Halloween themed for the events, but I just feel like they're lackluster, and maybe that's by design. To improve these maps, I think the developers could add just a couple of visual effects, not too many, but it would make them more interesting as well as fix the lighting of the maps. And for the upside down version of Farmstead, they could have turned down the visual effects. At the top of this tier is Deadeye Canyon. Everybody put your blindfolds on. This map is one of my least favorite to play on for comp because the sand, dude, it's the freaking sand. I mean, this map is literally named Deadeye Canyon. The devs knew what they were doing. I play Rocket League in the dark because I have no interest in preserving my eyes, but more importantly, I just feel more immersed. But on this map, the whole field is bright orange, and if that wasn't enough, the whole map is orange. Even the blue side is more orange than blue. Do I want a desert-themed map in Rocket League? Yes, that's cool, but I don't want it to be so bright that I hardly enjoy playing it. Easy fix, turn down the brightness on this sand, and it's a better map. Outside of this flaw, the canyon itself is pretty cool, but not as impressive as the settings in our next tier. Starting us off is 3 more Rocket Labs maps. We have Utopia Retro, Double Goal, and Octagon. Utopia Retro has a cool concept. You are in a circular arena where each goal is right next to each other, but you can drive all the way around the circle by driving through the goals. It's also the only Rocket Labs map aside from Galleon Retro that has a major design on the outside of the arena, though it's a pretty basic one. Still though, my buddies and I found ourselves enjoying this map more than the others, and it's still a pretty fun map to play Rumble on too. Double Goal is a map where the goal is split in 2. I prefer this to the silly gimmick of pillars or bumps, and find that you can have some pretty good games here as long as it's not a 1v1. If you have a larger group though, there's more people to defend the goals, so you can have some pretty interesting games. Octagon has to be the most mid-tier map in this entire game. It's just an octagon. What more is there to say? If you don't like Octagon, then this map offers an alternative while using the same shape of the field. And speaking of Octagon, that is our next map. It's basically just Starbase Arc, but in the shape of an octagon, and is used for Rumble. Oddly enough, I actually prefer the overall map design of Octagon over Starbase Arc. It looks better if you go into spectator mode and zoom out, but when it comes to actually playing the game, I'd choose a standard map over an octagon any day. The reason Octagon is in mid and not higher is not because of its map design, as the map itself is really cool and detailed. The setting is a colony on the rings of a planet, and that is a dope-ass concept. The problem lies within the arena. I just don't like the floor of this map. It looks bad. Nor do I really care for the scenery just outside the arena, which is pretty much what you see 90% of the time. Where this map shines is when you zoom out and explore, but that's just not how the game is played. The next 3 maps are all variations of one of the best maps in Rocket League. They are Champions Field Nike, Champions Field NFL, and Rivals Arena. One common reason amongst these maps that makes them fall way behind the original and day versions is they're tacky.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Okay, you see me after class.
They take what made Champions Field so great and ruin it. The Nike version takes orange and replaces it with pink and makes the whole field a brighter green. I actually don't mind the field though, it looks pretty good. But the worst part is it adds this stupid Nike balloon looking thing that not only looks terrible, but it also replaces the trophy statue, an iconic part of this map and Rocket League as a whole. The NFL version just seems like one big marketing tactic, just like everything the NFL does.
I don't feel so good.
Like, it couldn't just be football, it had to be NFL specifically. They plaster their logo all over the map as if the field wasn't enough. Like the Nike version, it too replaces the iconic trophy statue. It does work well for its intended mode, I'll give it that. And finally, the Rivals version is just Hot Wheels and they added Hot Wheels loop-de-loops.
Epic.
You disappoint me.
The field is also changed to this terrible shade of green. Look, call me a grumpy old man for these criticisms, but all three of these maps just feel so tacky and unnecessary. I'd much rather just play on the original versions. Next we have another snowy map. Utopia Coliseum Snowy is a cute little map with snow, Christmas lights, and a shitload of fog. I can't see 3 feet outside of this map, dude. And that's a shame because Utopia Coliseum has a very pretty environment. But in this map, everything from the filter they use to the lighting, it's just kind of annoying. I know it's a snow day map and they gotta keep it on theme, I'm just not really into it. The Christmas lights are a nice touch, mid-tier. After that, it's Throwback Stadium, an OG map. It's really just Manfield but hockey arena style. It's not bad here, I like the pitch, I'm just not really a fan of the goal placement, but it's still kind of cool coming here every now and again. It's used for Rumble, which makes for some fun games, but I wouldn't spend more than 2 games here, honestly. Moving on, we have Wasteland Night and Wasteland. Starting with Wasteland, this map is a pretty good map overall. It has the same environmental design as the Badlands, as does the Night version have the same design as Badlands Night. The Wastelands are a visually striking map, and it's also standard, so why isn't it higher on the list? The floor. Y'all probably think I'm so picky with these floors, but really though, what are we looking at 50% of the time we're playing the game? I'm not a fan of this floor, and I don't really care for the ramp up the walls either. The Night version is darker, and so the floor isn't as bright, so I notice it less. I also like the environment outside more at night, but there's also all these metal pieces just blocking the ceiling and the outside view. So I mean, that's just another thing that kind of takes away from it. Overall, good vibes, execution could have been better. Starbase Arc. We've already talked about this one. I like the outside design and it's a standard map. It's just the actual arena, that and the surrounding area outside of it, I just don't really care for. Seriously though, the outside is gorgeous and very detailed. Did you guys know there was like a whole space battle going on here? If the field was fully pitched, I'd put it higher for sure. Next is Utopia Coliseum Gilded. Much like the Snow Day version, this map takes what I love about the original and ruins it. Take the ramps up the wall. In Utopia Coliseum's other versions, it's this beautifully detailed brick pattern, but in Gilded they get rid of it and replace it with this.
Wow.
Another example is the pitch. They replaced one of the most detailed pitches in the game with this floor that looks like marble. I just found out Gilded means a thin layer of gold. Maybe it's white gold in the map. I don't really know. At least I can see outside of the map this time because the Utopia Coliseums have a beautiful environment. Overall, I'd rather play on the original or Night version. And finishing up our mid-tier is DFH Stadium Snowy, and the winner of this tier is DFH Stadium Circuit. First of all, DFH Stadium is a really cool map. Its arena and entire stadium is floating high up above the clouds surrounded by towering skyscrapers. That's a dope concept. Can you guess what knocks these maps down to mid-tier?
Well, bitch, you guessed it!
On the Snowy version, it's this terrible looking ice. We've already talked about that. I don't like the ice. And on the Circuit version, it's this stupid racetrack theme. I'm sorry, but I'm just not a fan at all. The original DFH Stadium floor is one of the best in the game, so taking that away knocks these maps down for me. Also on the Snowy version, the lighting is good, but the surrounding environment just looks so dull. And on the Circuit version, they added balloon arches.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
I know it makes sense to put a racetrack map in a game with cars, but this map just makes me feel like I'm playing Mario Circuit 3. And that's all I've got for the mid-tier. Okay, we finally made it to where the maps really start getting good, and starting us off at the bottom of this tier are the two best Rocket Lab maps in the game, that being Loophole taking the top spot and Corridor right behind it. I played hours of the Rocket Labs mode while it was available and also played some matches with the boys, and we agreed that these two maps were just much more fun than any of the others. Loophole completely changes the goal by making it a hole in the floor, emphasizing the need to attack from the air. I found myself trying to spike the ball down, which made for an entertaining match. And Corridor is fun because it removes the width of the map and makes attacking much more difficult as you have less space to work with, forcing you to go up the walls quicker. Overall, these maps are actually pretty good, and when I started this list, I didn't think any Rocket Labs maps would make it this far, but these two deserve to be in this tier. Next, we've got Neo Tokyo Arcade, the latest map to drop in Rocket League as of the recording of this video. It's got a nice pitch and some interesting neon lighting on the outside, though it doesn't look much like the original Neo Tokyo. I feel like Neo Tokyo has had the worst remakes out of any original map in this game, but Psyonix stepped up their game with this one. What holds it back though for me is the overkill of bright neon colors, but it's still a pretty good map overall. After that, we have everybody's favorite map, Salty Shores, though they should have called it Salty Sands because everybody's salty about the sand. This map is so bright, but it's so good. Look at the surrounding environment. It's gorgeous and has so much detail. The roller coaster on the pier, the shops along the street, the beach. I love the vibes here, but I am not a fan of how bright this sand is. It's not nearly as bad as Deadeye Canyon though, because the rest of the map is so great, I couldn't put it any lower than this tier just because of the sand. My god, I feel like Anakin Skywalker bitching about all this sand.
I don't like sand. It's coarse.
It makes it hard for me to clip in Rocket League.
Switching up, we have my least favorite variation of Manfield, that being the dusk version. Out of every variation, this one has the worst lighting, which is crazy because the other versions have some of the best lighting in the game. Manfield is an absolute banger of a map. The glass stadium gives you a sense of a big game going down, and you can still see outside of the stadium into the beautiful city. But the lighting is just not as good as on the other variations, and I would honestly prefer to play on any one of those versus this one. The next two maps are the best snowy maps in the game, Manfield Snowy and Beckwith Park Snowy. These two maps are great, I love them, but they're still snowy maps and that snow on the floor is real bright. Plus it blocks you from seeing two of the best floors in the game, especially Manfield's floor. But if you look up to the sky, you will see the Aurora Borealis and it's gorgeous. Both of these maps are stunning in different ways, and if I'm hosting a snow day game with the boys, I'm going to load us into one of these snow maps. The next map is Aquadome Salty Shallows. The map has a great floor, good lighting, and a non-distracting background. You could say it's a perfect comp map, so why isn't it any higher on this list? The main reason is I find it boring. Sure, the underwater aspect is interesting, but this map took all of the detail of the original Aquadome and got rid of it. This map doesn't have anything going on, no sea creatures swimming around, no coral reefs, heck, even the audience members aren't there. It feels like Psyonix got lazy with this one, to be honest. While I respect the arena itself and enjoy playing comp games here, I'd still rather go back to the OG Aquadome. The next map is Wasteland Pitched. What more can I say about the environment of this map? It's a pretty well themed map, and the pitched variation fixes one of the things I disliked about the original, the floor. Though it's still one of the uglier pitched floors in the game, I'm glad they added this map because I find the colors to be well executed and I never complain when playing a comp game here. Pretty good. Urban Central OG. There was a time long ago when I thought this map was my favorite. It has a great theme to it, a train station with these quirky clocks that spin when someone scores, and it has one of the best goal sounds when you score with no anthem added. But over the years, I've found coming back to this variation of the map kind of boring. The storm outside obscures any view you might have of the outside world, and the gray colors inside are so dull. That being said, I still like the overall design of the arena, and the floor is one of my favorite non-pitched floors. Coming to Urban Central OG is still a good experience to this day. Up next, we're taking a trip out to the country to visit our favorite farm. That's right, it's Farmstead, or should I say, shit floor. I'm a big hater of this floor. The wood, the mud, it's not a good floor at all. But then you look outside of the arena and you see the tree, you see the farm, you see the audience hanging out, the endless fields of flowers, heck, even the cows and pigs are watching. Farmstead gives me a warm feeling inside, but the floor takes what would be a goated map and knocks it down a couple of notches for me. Also, I love the banjo that plays at the beginning and the end of the match. Definitely a goated sound. Downright darn tootin'. Finally, to finish off our pretty good tier, we have Driftwood's Night and Driftwood's Dawn. The night version is ever so slightly above the dawn version here because I like the spookier vibes. These maps are what I want Halloween maps to be in this game. The dark trees, the eerie cabin by the pond, and the lighting and pitch. Well, why aren't they in Straight Fire or goated, you ask? I find them to be kind of boring after a game or two here. They're very cozy and spooky, and I strongly enjoy the lighting and the pitch. The environment is well done, and the comp games are easy to focus on here. But there's nothing else going on. No big audience watching you, no towering skyscrapers or city environment. It's kind of like camping. You go out to the country, you enjoy the aspect of sleeping in a tent for a day or two, and then you miss your bed. They're so close to being a tier higher, but for me they're just two pretty good maps. So up until this point, we've addressed maps used in every extra mode except for two. These two modes are my favorite extra modes in the game, and I find that to be both a product of great execution of the maps and great design of the maps. Starting us off in this tier is Core 707, the only map used in Dropshot. When I load into this map, it gets me hype. Unlike the boring and dull design of the environment and knockout maps, Core 707 places you in a hexagon with an extremely detailed hexagonal floor pattern. Outside of the arena are these giant cybernetic structures with lights following linear trails. The whole area just looks dope, and if that weren't enough, look at how the floor changes when the ball interacts with it. It's just straight up cool and badass. Then we've got the two hoops maps, featuring a scaled down version of rectangular standard maps with these giant basketball hoops in them. Both maps are done very well and offer two different experiences. In the block, you get the feeling you're hooping in the streets, and in the dunk house, it feels more like you've made it into the RLCS NBA. I slightly prefer the dunk house over the block because I prefer its arena and floor, but in the block, the environment is just gorgeous. More on that later. Hoops and Dropshot have maps that are done well, and I think without this brilliant design and execution of the maps, the modes simply would not be the same. And therefore, Rocket League as a whole wouldn't be the same either. We're going to go back to Urban Central and cover its two final variations, that being Urban Central Night and Urban Central Dawn. These maps take what I don't like about the original and improve on them. My teammates. Nah, just kidding. That being the lighting and the weather effects. In Urban Central Night, the lighting is darker and gets rid of the very gray look of the original. The Dawn version does the same thing. There's also no rain blocking out the outside world now, which allows players to see outside of the train station and see the buildings and skies. I prefer the night version over the Dawn version because the buildings really pop out and they add these nice neon lighting borders to the windows. Urban Central Night is the best version of this map. Alright, get ready to get what is saved on by the announcer because we're going to Champions Field Day. The daytime version of this map is great. The lighting is good, the trophy is there, and the arena has a good floor and overall design. You got thousands of little peeps here watching you. The surrounding stadium looks fantastic, and you can tell the big championship games go down here. Some might put this map higher on their list, but for me, I prefer its original version more, and some of the other stadium maps a little more too. Also, I don't know if you knew this, but the stadium is a Grand Champ symbol, and it also displays RLCS winners on these banners, which is a great detail. I always enjoy coming to this map, and it's always a great vibe here. Okay, we're finally going to give this map its flowers, and thank God for that. The one, the original, Neo Tokyo. The developers have done this map so dirty with its remakes, but the OG Neo Tokyo still remains one of the best maps in the game. I love the rain inside of the arena hitting the asphalt and the hilariously angry Japanese man announcing in the background. Honestly, when I think of Rocket League, this is one of the maps that pops into my head. I won't deny there's a nostalgia factor in this ranking, but even with that, the map is very creative. It's held in a futuristic looking Tokyo, Japan with some great details in the surrounding buildings. The reason I didn't include this map in the goated tier is because while I believe the execution of the map is perfect for what it is and the color scheme works, it's simply not really my style, and I like the maps higher in this list more. That being said, Neo Tokyo is always a treat to play on. Next, we're going to head to Beckwith Park Stormy. This map has a great vibe. The lighting of the storm creates this yellow effect on everything from the buildings outside of the arena to the arena itself. There's also a double rainbow in the distance. Where this map doesn't shine though are the splotches on the floor and doling out the surrounding environment. The storm has a double effect on the map, both making it more beautiful and more ugly at the same time. It's hard to strike the right balance when you have such an open field like Beckwith Park. For me, the striking lighting effects is what keeps this map in this tier. Moving on to Aquadome. This map is one of the most detailed and alive maps in the entire game. You play deep underwater in the ocean surrounded by coral reefs and these huge bubbles housing the audience watching you. Not only are they watching, but so are all of the sea creatures floating around the map. It's beautiful and it's one of my favorite maps to look at in the entire game. Some maps have a hard time with the dark floor, bright environment design, but Aquadome solves this problem by adding dark colors to the floor and blending the arena floor to create less contrast to the surrounding environment. It kind of reminds me of BioShock a bit. I wanted to put this map higher, but truth be told, I don't like playing this map when I'm trying to focus, as the lighting can be a bit weird at times. That being said, I still like it more than Salty Shallows overall, and always enjoy casual games here. Not gonna lie, I also spend a lot of my free play time in this map. Switching back to another Stormy setting, we have DFH Stadium Stormy. The concept of playing a game of car soccer in a stadium suspended high up in the sky surrounded by skyscrapers during a thunderstorm is enough to get anyone excited. So is the concept of teammates that pass the ball. I mean, the storm looks fantastic and the arena itself is beautiful too. While I find the foggy effect of the storm to be a bit frustrating, much like Beckwith Park Stormy version, this map just has a certain vibe that works. I enjoy coming here and find it to be one of the best Stormy maps in the game, and they keep the OG floor. Finishing out our straight fire tier is Estadio Vita. For some reason, some people think this map is smaller than other standardized maps. I haven't really noticed, but maybe then again I'm just a filthy casual incapable of noticing a difference of 3 pixels.
Who knows?
As far as the map itself, it's brilliant. I get the cozy vibes of Salty Shores here, but with a pitched floor and a great color scheme in the background. The surrounding mountains in the distance look great too. You got this moai, did I say that right? Right here in the bridge. I probably didn't say that right. This map is as close as it gets to being a goated map, but there was always something that bothered me when I played here. The buildings and the colors of the buildings look nice, but they also feel kinda in my face. The theming is done well, but I feel like the execution could have just been a bit better here. Maybe push the buildings a little further back from the arena. While the color scheme is gorgeous, it feels like a bit much at the same time. But don't change Estadio Vita, you do you. Okay, we're in the goated tier now, and this is where every map is a banger. There's no longer super noticeable design flaws or annoying features in the maps. All the colors are going to be great, all of the floor is good. There's a reason these maps are in this tier. Starting us off is Beckwith Park Day. This map has some amazing lighting. Take a look at the surrounding area, it's pristine. I'm not the biggest fan of the splotches on the ground, but it gives the pitch a feeling of having been used. Like this is a training ground that pros are born on. Literally, even the training maps in the game are hosted on this map. The color scheme is beautiful and the environment is breathtaking, and the lighting just makes it all perfect. I also just get really good training vibes here, like it's just great. Hey look, it's Manfield off in the distance. Next up we have Salty Shores Night. This map takes everything Salty Shores did right and drops the horribly bright sand for much better lighting. It also gives this beach town a nightlife vibe, and it's pretty sick. I mean, Night Beach is a vibe.
Ready for cup.
The map is beautiful, whether it's day or night, but the actual arena is far superior in the night version. The execution of the map is just perfect, and the maps make me want to go visit this place and watch some RLCS. On the beach! And then go ride the roller coaster. I'm riding the roller coaster. Speaking of good places to watch RLCS, up next we have DFH Stadium and DFH Stadium Day. These maps have one of my favorite floor designs in the entire game. They both encapsulate what makes Rocket League maps great. Take the amazing setting of being in a floating stadium high up in the sky with skyscrapers towering over you, and combine it with a fantastic color scheme. The original version is held in late afternoon with the sun bouncing warm colors off of the buildings and into the stadium, while the day version showcases a bright blue sky that makes each each and every color in the arena pop. They both have everything I love in a Rocket League map: a great pitch, a stadium to set the scene, creative theming, fantastic colors, and no distractions. If we're playing comp, I hope I get a map like these ones. The original is the best version of DFH Stadium in the game. Next, it's time to put on your RLCS shirt and open stream because we are going to where all of the action happens. The big stage, the match 7, the main event. That's right, it's Champions Field. The original Champions Field is a nighttime map and it sets the stage for a Rocket League map unlike any other map in this entire game. I just said map way too many times, you guys. You are now on the grand stage in front of thousands of people in the stadium, or tens of thousands in the case of RLCS. You have the previous RLCS champions on these banners, flags of countries from around the world, an announcer who will what a save you in a heartbeat the first chance he gets.
Pinch.
What a save!
Yo! Let's go.
And a great setting for comp. I mean, I've got no complaints. The map is stunning and it does everything right to make it a goated map. It's the best version of Champions Field. Next, we're going to move away from stadiums and visit the farm one last time. That's right, we've got Farmstead pitched. Why is it this high, you ask? Because it takes everything I love about Farmstead, the tree, the farm, the surrounding fields, and overall aesthetic, and it gets rid of the one thing I can't stand about it: the floor. Instead of mud, shit, and wood, now we have a beautiful pitch, and they got it right. Not only is it pitched, but it's a good pitch too. I'm so happy the developers added this variation of Farmstead into the game, and it's always a nice comfy vibe where I can still focus when I need to. It is the best version of Farmstead. Forbidden Temple Day is held in an Eastern Asian themed map high up in the mountains with a beautiful waterfall. This map has some exceptional theming, and even the music helps to set the stage as you prepare for a match. I always get good vibes when I load into this map, and I find the setting to be one of my favorites in the game. The way the mountains and architecture towers over you and the colors blend together, it's a place I feel like I need to visit in real life to truly appreciate. The arena is done extremely well, and I really like the stones and the ramp as well as the lighting. I find myself wanting to come back to this map frequently. It is a goated map. Moving back to stadiums, we have Manfield. Manfield might seem like your average stadium map, but it has a vibe to it like no other. I've spent countless hours in this game grinding to be a better player and climbing up the ranks, and no other stadium keeps me focused like Manfield. The pitch is undoubtedly my favorite floor in the entire game. The lighting here is exceptional, and the surrounding stadium has the distinct honor of being the most balanced. What do I mean by that? I mean the stadium is both impressive and not the least bit distracting at all. Manfield gives me both a sense of pure focus and a sense of grandeur that almost no other map offers, and that is why Manfield Day is not average in my opinion, but it's exceptional. The next map on this list is Utopia Coliseum Dusk. This map offers a lot of what the last map does. It has a beautiful field, great lighting, amazing details on the outside of the arena, but not enough to be distracting, and the environment is breathtaking. This map offers a relaxing experience or a purely focused one. The arena design is extremely detailed, the floor looks great, and the lighting here is both beautiful and fantastic. It makes me want to jump into the game and experience it as if it were a real place. In the Coliseum setting, very cool. Just imagine hanging out in Rome in the Coliseum watching a bunch of cars drive around. Hell yeah! This map is goated. Moving on, we have two maps that are largely the same: Beckwith Park Midnight and Beckwith Park Batman. The Midnight version is obviously held at night, and the Batman version is held during a rainy night with the bat symbol in the sky, kind of reminiscent of Gotham City. One of the buildings also has this on it. Other than that, they're just about identical. The reason the Midnight edition is above the Batman edition is because of the sky. This sky is everything I want it to be. It's dark, filled with stars, and not too distracting. The map is simply stunning. Beckwith Park has no grand stadium wrapping around it, but it's also not secluded in the middle of nowhere. It offers offers both city vibes and nature vibes. When you load into a game at Beckwith Park Midnight, it's like you've gone stargazing. Or if you're there to stand on business, it offers an environment that won't distract you. The night version of Beckwith Park is a truly stunning map, and it's the undeniable best version of this map too. The Batman version is right behind it because it is largely the same, but also because Batman has been an iconic part of Rocket League for years. I hope they bring it back for us to play on it one more time. Finally, the map at the top of Goated tier is Manfield Stormy. Getting the lighting on any Stormy map is a tricky task, but Manfield Stormy knocks it out of the park. So much so that I actually like the Stormy version more than the day version. The rain might block out the surrounding stadium a bit, but the arena looks amazing. It's one of the clearest fields in the entire game. Take a look at the night lights. They shine down on the stadium and bring out the colors in a whole new way. It's honestly impressive. And I like Stormy maps, they have a vibe to them. Manfield Stormy is the best Stormy map in the entire game, and I love when I load into a game here. But it's not better than any one of the 6 maps in the next tier. So you've made it this far. You want to see which 6 maps I believe are the best that Rocket League has to offer. Before we continue, please consider liking the video and sharing it with your friends who play the game, and don't forget to check out the tier list maker and Reddit post. The God tier represents maps that not only check all of my boxes, but go above and beyond to deliver the ultimate Rocket League experience. These maps are the ones I find myself both able to focus and enjoy myself on. They are the 6 best maps in the game. Starting us off in God tier is Deadeye Canyon Oasis. Talk about a comeback. While Deadeye Canyon Original found itself in the Needs Improvement tier, the Oasis version is simply breathtaking. It's the same exact map except they made the floor pitched, they changed the desert canyon into a green oasis, and they added the Aurora Borealis to the sky. Not to mention these beautiful sounds in the background. The colors on this map are vibrant, yet I never find them to be distracting when I need to focus on the map. The map is immersive with its sound, color scheme, and overall theme. Deadeye Canyon is a drop-dead gorgeous map, and I wish it were a real place so I could go experience its environment firsthand. At number 5, we have Forbidden Temple. This is the original version of the map, held at dawn, and its colors are unlike anything else in the game. The Eastern Asian theme combined with the vibrant yet blended colors is simply amazing. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but there's Koi.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
On a real note, I have a good time every time I load into this map, and I find myself wanting to play more games in the map constantly. The thing I enjoy the most about Forbidden Temple is the way everything just fits together in perfect harmony. Like I said, the map is blended perfectly, and I just get the sense that everything belongs right where it is, and I belong in the map with it. It is the best variation of Forbidden Temple in this game. At number 4, we have Salty Shores Saltfest. This map is everything I want from a beach map aside from sand, which turns out to be a good thing. The map is held at night and they've replaced the sandy floor with a pitch, making everything perfect. The color scheme is well done and it creates a fun and energetic environment. They also add some extra details like a half pipe, a stage, and some palm trees. It blocks out the ocean view, but you can still tell you're at a beach. This map has the very best vibes in the game, and I always have a good experience when I load into a match here. It is the best variation of Salty Shores in the game. At number 3, we are going to Sovereign Heights. This map blew me away the first time I played on it. It's held in a bustling city that makes me think of Brooklyn with this bridge and these skyscrapers amidst a backdrop of a sunset, plus there's some cool cranes. The reason it's in God tier and not the straight fire tier with its hoops variant is because the pitch looks fantastic. Are there any apartments for rent here? Because I want a window view of this arena. I mean, this map just knocked it out of the park. Sovereign Heights is a map I could spend hours in playing matches, doing free play or just hanging out in spectator mode. It's downright impressive. It's also the best city in the entire game, whereas maps like DFH Stadium and Beckwith Park use the same skyscraper texture. This map has all kinds of different buildings that make it come to life in a whole new way. Best city in the game. At number 2, we have Utopia Coliseum. This map never fails to make me smile. It has one of the most detailed arenas in the entire game and a beautiful stadium surrounding the arena. Why is the original version in this place and not its dusk version, you ask? The colors. Utopia Coliseum has some of the best color design in the entire game. I would argue that no map showcases the classic blue versus orange theme of Rocket League quite like this map. In the nighttime version, they're slightly less impressive, but during the daytime version, the sun brings out the best in it. The detail in every inch of the field is a love letter to the map design of Rocket League, and the environment remains one of the most beautiful environments in the game. Utopia Coliseum is a fantastic map that I continue to be impressed by to this day. It is the best version of Utopia Coliseum in this game. At number 1, the best Rocket League map in my opinion is Manfield Night. I know what you're thinking, Zeno, bro, how can this be number 1? It's not gorgeous like Deadeye Canyon, nor does it have an amazing color scheme like Forbidden Temple. It doesn't offer the vibes like Salty Shores Saltfest. It's not impressive like Sovereign Heights. It doesn't even have detail like Utopia Coliseum. And you know, you're right. But no map showcases what Rocket League is all about quite like this map. After playing this game for over 6 years and pouring through hours of gameplay and spectator mode footage, no map encapsulates what Rocket League is all about quite like this map. Rocket League makes us hungry to be the best. It drives us to train for hours on end to learn a new mechanic. It draws us in with its simple but addictive gameplay. When I think of playing Rocket League, the map I see myself playing in the most is Manfield Night. It has the best pitch, the best lighting, and an amazing stadium. It takes me back to a time when I played soccer every day. It brings out the competitive spirit in me, and most importantly, it gives me a feeling of belonging. I belong here, in this game, in this match, in this moment. Manfield Night, after years of playing this game, is my favorite map. And without it, I don't know if Rocket League would be the same. It is the very best map that Rocket League has to offer. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I know it was a long video, so if you're still here, thank you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you for watching this video, as I spent countless hours bringing everything together. A reminder that you can participate by clicking the link in the description that takes you to the tier list where every single map is labeled. Underneath that is a Reddit post where you can post your version of the tier list. If the Reddit post gets enough attention, I will react to your tier lists and give a shout out to everyone who participates. I look forward to seeing your tier list, as I know it's probably very different from mine. If you want to see more content like this, definitely subscribe, as I have more tier lists on the channel and more gaming content. Leave a comment down below telling me what your favorite map is. Thanks for watching, and keep playing the game we love. My name is XenoCloud, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.